Hey everybody, David the AI Guide here. Thanks so much to my new subscribers, and please follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram also. And we appreciate your support. So today's topic is courtesy of engadget, and it's about Facebook and Facebook's use of AI in a specific way. And without a doubt, a tech firm like Facebook uses AI in multiple ways, but this particular way is important for the health and well-being of some of its employees. So all of these social media platforms have what they call something like content moderators, and that's definitely what Facebook calls them, and Google has them, and Twitter, and all the social media platforms do. And we know this because there's been recent news articles about certain news being blocked by these social media channels. Twitter just had to appear before Congress because of that, and admitted that in blocking certain content, they made a mistake. But most of this work, basically all of this work, has been done initially by human beings. And the system would flag posts that were inflammatory or racist or promoting harm, violence, and stuff like that. Why people post that is a different issue. But stuff like that is posted, and it gets flagged, and it goes to the content moderation group to be reviewed before they decide whether to block it or release it. Now, keep in mind that about a quarter of all flagged posts are automatically blocked, which means they are clearly in violation of Facebook's guidelines. So that's a big percentage of flagged stuff is automatically blocked as being highly inappropriate. The other 75% needs human review. And one of the problems with this is just volume, right? Because Facebook has billions of users posting all the time, all day, every day. So there is a tremendous amount of content that needs to be reviewed by these content moderators. And they can get very, very far behind at times, depending on activity levels. But even more significant is that being a content moderator causes mental health issues, because the stuff you're looking at is so damaging and so negative all day, every day, that it causes mental health problems. Now, this is a side note. We know the evidence is clear now that you should ignore negative content wherever you're getting it from. Why? Because it colors your thinking and changes your outlook to a pessimistic viewpoint, which is scientifically proven to make you less successful. So there's many, many reasons to stay away from negative content, but certainly you want to think very seriously about being one of these content moderators for Facebook or another tech company. Now, this content is so damaging that Facebook recently settled and paid 11,000 of their content moderators $52 million. This is a lot of money, and it means the damage to these poor people doing this job was real and significant. And this is one of the reasons why the legal system exists. Sure, lawyers get a bad rap, but when people are harmed by companies or by other people in the public, it's the lawyers that protect them and get them help. And in this case, it was significant financial help to help them get the therapy that they need. And therapy is often out of pocket and always very expensive. And many people can't afford it. But this took care of that for these individuals. So this article from Engadget talks about how Facebook started to thinking about how can we make things better for these content moderators. And the conclusion they came to is the conclusion that many companies are coming to about many different things is AI, artificial intelligence. And they started using machine learning, deep learning, most likely, although the article doesn't specify that, but they do say machine learning, but it's most likely deep learning, to help determine which content should be blocked beyond the 25% that's so blatant that it's automatically blocked. Now, what does this do? First of all, it keeps the most damaging content from being viewed by these human content moderators so that they're less exposed to really bad stuff. And it lightens their workload because their workload was crushing. And now the workload is lighter because AI is investigating and determining many of the things that should be blocked before it goes to human review. So this is leaving the less severe and less obvious stuff for human review where it's debatable or questionable. And human beings are obviously still much better at that kind of marginal judgment than AI is yet. But this is a great use case for AI generally because even though this article didn't talk about this, clearly there's many occupations that are not really that healthy for human beings, whether they present physical danger or they present mental danger. So there's many ways that AI can be a constructive use. And one thing I've been thinking a lot about that I want to state right here is that one of our themes is making AI human. And what do I mean by that? I mean using AI to help humanity, not hurt it, which is a distinct possibility. We talked about one aspect of that in the military use of AI that I did. But there's a lot of great positive use cases for AI to protect people. And on the physical side, you've got robots that can go into very dangerous situations that will be using AI algorithms so that they can autonomously do very dangerous things like go into fires and stuff like that to check to see if someone's trapped rather than exposing a fireman to getting burned, which is an all too frequent occurrence in the major cities. So Facebook has chosen for this purpose to use AI in a way that's benefiting some of its employees. Now, there is a flip side. I always give you both sides. There's a flip side to using AI for content moderation, right? The AI is only as good as it was programmed, and if the program was made with biases, then content will be blocked that shouldn't be blocked only because the programmer's biases are coming through, or AI for content moderation could be used affirmatively or positively to block content that the owners of these companies don't like. That has happened for sure. That has been proven, not AI-wise, but in general. It is clear now that the big tech platforms have blocked certain content for the sole purpose of manipulating people's point of view and blocking certain content that the ownership finds objectionable. This is why some people are calling for regulation of tech giants as public utilities for the public good, which is an interesting argument, and obviously there's arguments on both sides of that. But we're going to stick to AI for content moderation because the other topic is too big for one or more than one segments. That's a huge topic, and we'll get to that one day, not now. But when AI is being used, there's always a choice to be made, and the choice can be made, let's use AI for good in this circumstance, or let's use AI for ill in this circumstance. And as AI becomes more and more pervasive and more powerful, this choice is going to be made more and more often. So this is something that everyone needs to think about. And in terms of careers, which I always talk about late in my videos, and hopefully the younger people who are in high school, college, and just out of college and starting their working careers stay to the end, because that's where the true value is for you. But think about what specifically you might be asked to do in your career if you end up being in the AI field or in a field where AI is used. You have the power to say no. Does saying no have consequences? Yes, it might mean you have to pass on a specific job or you don't make quite as much money, but you sleep better and you are true to yourself. Something for all of us to ponder. So thanks so much. We'll see you next time, and we'll continue with breaking news. Take care and have a good rest of the weekend.